So I want to talk real quick about wood-handled squeegees on a manual. Two things to keep in mind when you're printing on a manual with these. One, you want the blade to always be sharp, and a really easy way to tell if the blade is sharp enough or not is to take your finger and run it across it. If you can feel your fingerprint, it's sharp, but if you can't, time to toss it, it needs to go. Or if you're using some kind of a handle that has a replaceable blade, then replace it. You can also potentially sharpen the squeegee if you have a squeegee sharpener, but honestly, squeegees like this are pretty cheap. So that's one thing. You want your blade to always be in good condition. That's going to affect everything. It's going to affect the amount of pressure you have to use, which is physical exertion, and then how crisp your print's going to be. It starts getting muddied up the softer that edge gets or more rounded. We could talk about that later. But the other thing to keep in mind is if for some reason on every print, not singularly on one palette, but every print, you're starting to notice this little patch or area, and generally you can feel it when you pull too. You can feel the blade is not all flexing exactly the same the entire way across, is that it can often have a crack or be starting to split in the squeegee rubber. And that could just happen over time. It's rubber, it dries out, it's exposed to solvents in our air. We clean it off with solvents, it just cracks and wears out over time. But often you can't really see it, but you can physically feel it because you're not getting an even pull across the edge. And then also you'll start seeing in the print, if it gets bad enough, like a different area that wherever it's cracked or broken at is starting to just put different levels of pressure on it. So it's not even across the entire blade. Really, the easiest way if that's happening, just stop, clean off the squeegee blade. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on here or not, but when I clean it off and pull it down a little bit, there's a crack, a split in that rubber right on that edge across a chunk of it, probably right in here where it's just gotten weak and it's starting to split and come off. And if you see that happening and you check your squeegee and that's happened, if it's this kind of a squeegee, toss it. And if it's a replaceable blade, pull that blade and toss it. Don't put it back, don't save it, don't anything. As soon as you know that that squeegee's bad, toss it. It's affecting the quality of your print, it's affecting the consistency of your print, and it's affecting the amount of exertion or output you're using on that print. See that happen? Chuck it.